Where there is truth, the soul dances. Sach to bito nach. That is the Hindi translation. And Baba says that the soul that has the power of truth, that soul is never afraid, never confused, they never wilt, they never get weak. And such a soul has immense power to face. Even if big storms come, they may shake you, but they will not drown you. And you will again come back to your state of stability because of the power of truth. Now, what is the power of truth? Because truth is a very interesting subject in this world of falsehood. Truth is a very dicey subject in this world of falsehood. And you see, this world is described as jhuti maya, jhuti kaya, jhuta sab sansar, which means the world is illusory, the body is false, and the whole world is full of falsehood. And in this world, Baba, who is called the truth, God the truth, he comes and then he fills us with what is called the power of truth. Now, before I talk about it, I will share one experience that I have. So there is this one brother and he is into a government job, and in that office there is a lot of corruption, and his son, right from childhood, his son has many ailments, both physical and mental, and there is a lot of suffering that the son goes through. And when this brother, he visited the center, he told me, I just want to know this, that is it possible that my karma is suffered by someone else? So I said, please tell me the whole thing so that I can answer it better. So I said, you see, my son has a lot of ailments and he's really suffering. And whenever I look at him, I feel that, it is because of my karma that he's suffering. And there is so much guilt in me, and I can't sleep, and I really feel that pain of guilt. And I asked him, so what have you done which makes you feel that your karma is such that your child will suffer because of that? So he said, there is nothing that I have not done. Every kind of sin that you can think of, I have done. So I said, okay, so let me put it this way. So the son is not suffering because of your karma, because that's not possible. You suffer your own karma, but you are suffering your own karma. So the son has his own drama. I don't know whether he's suffering or not suffering, because pain is not equal to suffering. Maybe that child has a very good attitude, and maybe the child is passing that whole phase in a very good state also. So I cannot comment upon whether he is suffering or not, but you are suffering, and you are suffering your own karma. And what is that karma? All that you have done, you remember it. And the way you feel about your son's suffering, the guilt you feel, the pain you feel, that's your karma. So it's not that he is suffering because of you, but you are suffering your own karma. And you see that it is our own karma which manifests itself as our attitude, our perception, our sanskars, our habits, and we suffer because of our attitude, perception, sanskars, habits, don't we? So suffering is all related to that. And if in my heart I know that I have committed this sin, then everything that is happening outside will make me feel afraid, will make me feel guilty, will make me feel confused. It will take away my energy. Why? Because that is the sanskar I have created by doing the pap karma that I have done. So Baba tells us that where there is truth, there is the soul dances. There is no fear, no confusion, no wilting, no weakness. You don't feel weak in any situation. You have complete power to face and overcome any situation whatsoever. So this kind of a shift from where we are to what Baba is saying, how does that happen? That happens when we imbibe the truth that Baba gives us. And you see, the truth is about many things. So you see, true knowledge, true yoga, yes, true habits, true lifestyle, true dharana, true seva. So there is falsehood in every aspect of our life right now. True sambandh sampark. So when we come into relationships, are we acting falsely or truly? Or when we talk about attitude and drishti, is our vision true? Is our attitude true or false? Now, there is a simple difference between truth and falsehood. So, truth is purity and impurity is falsehood. Yes, so Baba tells us that in your original stage, in your true state, you're pure, and everything vicious is impure, and everything vicious is untrue, that which started from the copper age. Now you see, Baba gives us true knowledge first, and we have to imbibe the true knowledge. And true knowledge will also set you free. True knowledge will also make the soul dance. So just think about the first point, that you are a soul and you cannot die. So there is no concept of death for the soul, and you are a soul. You just change your costume, you never die. And just think about, if you imbibed this truth, then you could dance even when everybody else is crying for you. So even when a person is leaving the body and everyone else is crying for you, your heart will dance if you know that you are a soul and you are not dying, you're just changing a costume. So imbibing the truth is so powerful. I remember there was this one brother, he came to Baba when he was very little and he understood Gyan, and then he left his body at a very young age, at the age of 18 or 19 something. And then when he left the body, before that, he counseled his own brothers and sisters and said that you don't have to be sad, I'm just changing a costume and going. So he had a terminal illness, and because of that he left the body. So you see that if you know what is the truth and you have imbibed the truth, then even death can't make you sad or weak or wilt, or it can't take away your happiness. So this is what Baba means when he says that when you have the power of truth, then you, the soul, will dance in every situation. Just think about the power of truth, that peace and happiness is your birthright, and you have the capacity and the choice to be happy and peaceful in any situation, whatever. And you have imbibed this, that I am a soul, I think, I create my feelings, I decide where my buddhi yoga has to be or doesn't have to be. And when you imbibe this truth, then you can choose to be happy wherever and whenever you want to. So truth is what changes the whole dynamic. Then second thing you see about truth, the truth is all your relationships are with Baba. Yes, and you are not living in the illusion that I have permanent relationships with co-actors in the world. And have you seen that although we keep listening to Gyan, I don't know how much we really imbibe that all my relationships are with Baba, because I remember there was this one Mata, and she told me that my son is unwell, and she started crying. And then I said, just meditate, and she was meditating and she was crying. So I told her, are you remembering Baba? So she was just sitting, and she was supposedly remembering Baba, and she was just crying and crying and crying. And then I said, what are you doing in remembrance exactly? So she said, I am taking my son to the soul world and giving him drishti from Baba. So I said, no, that's not how you remember Baba. You leave the son here, you are a soul. You go to Baba. So she said, no, but I've never done that. I always take all my children, my family to the soul world, and we all go and sit with Baba. So I was just thinking, I said, okay, today you told it, so I know, but maybe others are also doing the same thing. So I will discuss in class about this. So you see that Baba tells us that you remember me. And when he says you remember me, so the first thing we have to do is we have to forget the body, the bodily relations and bodily religions and bodily achievements, attainments, and everything that you say is I and mine. And then just come to the awareness that you are only a soul and you have all relationships with Baba, and then you remember Baba. But do you do that? That's the question. Do you leave your, do you just unplug your awareness from this body and bodily relations? Because Baba says, constantly remember me. So do you make that effort to constantly be in a state where your buddhi is unplugged from the body, the bodily relations, bodily religions? Because mostly all the relationships are always playing on our mind. Yes, and these thoughts about my spouse, my children, my parents, my siblings, my friends, these are always there on your mind. So it's a question to ask yourself whether you've really imbibed that all your relationships are with Baba. Because I'll tell you, there was a couple in Gyan, and they were really, they looked very nice together and always coming together to Madhuban and always doing everything together, coming to center together, going for seva together, and they look like they are the ideal image of what a good Purusharthi should be like. But then one of them left the body, and then the other one was in pain. But because you see that although it looks like you are remembering Baba, but mostly we don't do the first step. We don't disengage our awareness from bodily relations. And Baba tells us that you have to consider yourself to be a soul who comes alone, goes alone, and then remember Baba. And sometimes we just I don't know whether we do it consciously or unconsciously, but we just try to fool ourselves, and we still live in that world of falsehood because illusion is very attractive, and you want to live in this illusion that I'm doing everything together and we'll always stay together. But is that knowledge? You will not stay with a human being forever. Somebody will leave earlier and somebody will leave later. So then, are you forging all your relationships with Baba, or are you going to that place? Because being Sato Pradhan, moving forward, is about being light, about being pure. And purity means you have to work on these aspects, not only of anger and lust, but attachment also. If there is attachment, there is no purity. And how can a soul who is in attachment dance? So you will dance only when your attachment is working fine, and when the object or the person you are attached to is not doing well, then you, the soul, can't dance. So am I working enough on my ego, on my attachment? And I'm really so do you remember Baba by first detaching and unplugging and disengaging your whole attention and relationship from this whole body and old world? Do you do that? So if you do that, then you will be able to forge that relationship with Baba, because the truth is you only have all relationships with Baba. There is no relationship with anybody whatsoever. And then do you understand that all your attainments are from Baba? So you think that your post position, the money you have, that's what is fulfilling you, but that's an illusion. And have you come to that place of truth? Because you see, the truth is hidden beneath so many layers that until you remove all those layers by churning deeply on the truth and by remembering Baba, if you don't remove all those layers, then you can't actually taste the sweetness of the truth. So the truth is that all your attainments are from Baba, and Baba is enough for you. But there is an illusion in which we have been living that this is necessary, that is necessary, and this is important, that is important. I can't survive without this and that and the other. And if that illusion is still very strong, then how can the soul dance in the face of physical loss? Yes. So whenever there is a change in your attainments and achievements, how will you dance? If you don't understand that all your attainments and achievements are from Baba. So the first thing is true knowledge about the soul, about Baba, about drama. Yes, and if you are still in the habit of interpreting scenes and situations as good, bad, success, failure, loss, gain, even about the past, if you have these interpretations, then you can't dance. And you see that there is this one person who shared with me that right now there is nothing going wrong in my life, but there is a memory from my childhood which I am carrying, and I always try to not think about it, but in a week, maybe once in a week or once in a month, that thought comes over, and then I get very sad and it depletes all my energy. So I told him that it's not what happened to you, but how you thought about it, that you captured as a memory. So do you understand that it was just a scene in drama, but you thought about it as a bad scene, as a scene which which is toxic, which is harming you. You thought about your feelings as I'm feeling sad, bad, this, that. So this is what you're carrying in your heart, and you have the absolute power to let go of your version of your past. And just know that, just like if Baba says right now every scene in the drama means nothing. It's how you interpret it according to your sanskar that it assumes meaning. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. It's just there to take you to the next level. So, if we have not done this inner work of looking at every scene of the drama like a neutral, predestined scene, which actually means nothing, then how can you dance in every situation? Yes, if you interpret scenes as loss, gain, success, failure, good, bad, yes, so so if you interpret scenes as this is beneficial, not beneficial, then how can you dance in every scene? So there is this thing about the truth and power of truth, and for anything to become a power, you have to really work upon it. Yes, so just think about food lying on the table and then food becoming energy for the body. So you have to take it, eat it, digest it. Your body has to convert it into blood and nutrients, and only then the body takes energy. So truth is also like that. You have to take the truth from Baba, the truth about everything, churn over it and sit in silence in remembrance of Baba, who is the ocean of truth. And in that remembrance, you have to internalize that truth for it to become power. Then you see, there is true yoga. And Baba says that we have yoga with everyone and everything, don't we? So what is yoga? You connect your buddhi and experience. So right now, where is your buddhi yoga? So some of you may have buddhi yoga with Baba. Some of you may have buddhi yoga with the screen of the phone. Some of you may have buddhi yoga wandering somewhere else. So it's every time there is buddhi yoga. Without buddhi yoga, you cannot experience anything in the world. You have to connect your buddhi, and only then you experience anything in the world. So Baba says, whenever your buddhi yoga is with anyone or anything in the old world, that is depleting you. And just think about, all the time when you are not remembering Baba, then even if apparently you are not doing anything, you are getting tired. Isn't that so? So people get more tired on holidays than on working days. Because if you are having buddhi yoga with the old world, with your past, worries of the future, and every buddhi yoga is just depleting you. And Baba says the only true buddhi yoga is when you have yoga with Baba. And when you have true yoga, it fills you with power, because that is the power of truth. So when you understand who the soul actually has yoga with, and you see this word yoga, Yoga means the connection of the soul and the Supreme Soul. Yoga by definition is the relationship between the soul and the Supreme Soul. You don't say anything else, you don't call anything else as yoga, because yoga means the soul must have connection and remembrance of the Supreme Soul Baba. So Baba says this true yoga is going to fill you with power. True dharana. So the eyes see, but Baba says you must see the soul. So true drishti, true attitude. What is true attitude? Brotherly attitude. That the soul is a brother. What is true dharana about food? So eat pure food cooked in Baba's remembrance. True dharana about waking up and sleeping. So you wake up at Amrit Vela, sleep at 10 in the night. So Baba says, in every aspect of life there is a truth and a falsehood, and there is Maya that teaches us all the false habits and false lifestyles, and Baba teaches us the true attitude, true drishti, true connection. So Baba says, whenever you come into interaction with souls, check whether it is true or false. And what is true interaction? When you come into interaction with souls indirectly. So you come into interaction with souls as Baba's child, not my this. So when you think that this is my brother, my sister, my father, my mother, that's false interaction. And when you know that I am a soul and this is Baba's child and I'm interacting with Baba's child, that is a true interaction. And in that interaction, you will gain power, because you will not focus on the rubbish that is coming. You will emerge, your qualities and virtues and come into interaction. So Baba says that there is in every aspect of dharana, whether it is food, drink, eating, sleeping, seeing, hearing, so everything is about falsehood and truth. And then Baba says true seva. Yes, so have you seen that people do a lot of seva and then they repent their seva? So parents raise their children, and then there comes a point when they say that I invested so much on this child, and now when I look back, I think I shouldn't have done that because the child is not giving the return that you expected. So when you do seva, so Baba says you must always do spiritual seva, and that too on the directions of Baba. Never do, so Baba says it's not about serving the body, it's not about serving the body, it's you have to do spiritual seva for every soul. Now if you give any soul the resources but not the strength and understanding to use those resources properly, then there will come a point where you will repent giving them the resources. But if you nurture them first spiritually, and then even if you give them some resources physically, you will be very proud that you did that you created Baba's child, and you were instrumental in doing spiritual seva for a soul. And then Baba says that another important form of seva is serving Baba's task. So Baba is here and Baba is creating heaven on earth, and you must contribute your body, mind and wealth to this seva. And Baba says when you do that, that also has the power of true seva, because that seva is done on the directions of Baba, and that seva is done to create heaven on earth, and you receive power in return of such true seva. So Baba says that this is the power of truth, and when you have this power of truth inside you, then any situation come whatsoever, you will never be less powerful than the situation. You will always be more powerful than the vighan or the problems that you face. And then your boat may tilt for some time, but you will gain that stability and you will go ahead. So Baba says that you must focus on the power of truth, and Baba is the bestower of truth, and where there is truth, you will always be dancing and happy, and you will not give up, you will not have weak thoughts, you will cross everything in great strength and go to the other side and see success and see that the problem is over, and now you have come to a place where you have gained from that whole issue and you have become maturer and more more in command of your virtues and powers. So Baba says this for about the truth today. And then Baba today says that you must understand that you have to become Sato Pradhan and go back home. Do you understand that? That you have to become Sato Pradhan and go back home, because you see, when you want to become Sato Pradhan, you have to let go of all the vices that you have yourself been holding on to. Yes, who is asking you to be vicious? Yes, so, and I'll tell you, the vices can be categorized into two categories. Vices that cause sorrow, temporary sorrow, and vices that give temporary pleasure. Yes, and attachment gives you temporary pleasure. Ego gives you temporary pleasure, doesn't it? Yes, so somebody tells you, oh, you've done great in life, look at your bungalow, you feel nice about it. Yes, so, or somebody tells you that you're really talented and look at the way you are doing things and it is marvelous, and you feel nice about it. So I think that when we understand this aim of being Sato Pradhan, you understand that you cannot be Sato Pradhan by just giving up the bitter vices. You have to also give up the sweet vices, which are apparently sweet. And I think, we always give up the bitter ones and hold on to the sweet ones, that which gives us temporary pleasure. And you have to let go, and that's a very conscious thing to do. And until and unless you let go of your vices, even if you are, if you have attachments to your acquired titles and labels, and you have attachments to people and relationships, and you have attachment to physical pleasures of eating and watching and roaming and partying and holidaying, if you have these attachments, then you are like that person who is doing yoga, but that yoga is not giving any result. Why? Because you see, Baba says that there is a very interesting story, that there was a person who rowed the boat all night, but the boat didn't move even an inch. Why? Because he had not taken off the, the anchor. So the anchor had not been lifted, and because the anchor of the boat had not been lifted from the shore, so he kept rowing the boat, but it didn't go anywhere. So Baba says that one who protects the vices of attachment to the old world and still keeps remembering Baba, that's like somebody who's rowing the boat but not lifting the anchor. and then you are not becoming Sato Pradhan if you keep doing that. So Baba says that you have to understand that you have to go back, and when you have to go back, you have to go back alone. And so do everything as Baba tells us. Don't mix your, and these classes, why we conduct these classes is so that we can see what we are doing, because when we are doing it, we are so saddled by Maya that we can't even see that this is happening. But as soon as you realize it, change it, because now it is time to go back whether you like it or not like it. And this is the time to become Sato Pradhan. And if you don't do it now, then you will repent it later, because anyways you will have to go back and you will receive punishment and not get a good status. So Baba says, keep this in your buddhi. Okay, Om Shanti.